Adding arrays in C# should be easy, right? This is Daniel, and you are going to get coded. Here I have Visual Studio opened, and we are going to create a new console application by going to File, New, and Project. And here, under Visual C#, Windows Desktop, and then Console App, we are going to rename this to Adding Items, and then hit OK. While this is loading, here I have a web page, and you can find a link for this web page in the description down below. So we are going to learn how to add items to arrays in C#. First, we need to create an array. In this example, we will use string as the type of our array, but you can use any type you want. So it can be either integer or double or object or array, any type you want. So we have string, and then we have the square brackets. So the square brackets show that we are dealing with an array. And then we have the new keyword here, which shows that the array is an object, which is a reference type. So this is the declaration of an array. And I think Visual Studio is done right now. Let's try to press Windows key, right arrow, and let's begin typing. So I'll type the same thing, so string fruits equal new string and square brackets. But you can see that right now we have an error. Let's see why. Unfortunately, we need to specify the size of the array when we create it. Arrays in C# are not dynamic, in the sense that their size must be specified right at the beginning. So, as you can see in the example here, we put 4. So let's try to put 4 here, and we don't have an error. Now the size is 4, which means it can hold 4 items. So this array can hold 4 items. Let's continue. Indexers. One thing to remember is that computers do not count like we count. We start by counting from 1, so 1, 2, 3, whereas computers count from 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Because of that, array indexes range from 0 to array dot length minus 1. So keep that in mind. And all the time, you are one step back, okay? Adding items. We can start putting items in some positions. So I'm going to add an apple and a cherry at the first and second position. So let's say fruits 0, which is the first position, and apple. And then second position 1 is going to be cherry. So right now this array has 2 fruits. Notice that you don't have to fill all the positions of the array. We just added 2, even though we had 4 positions available. So indeed, this array has 4 positions available, but we added only 2. The rest are empty, and they hold the default value of string, which is in fact null. Okay? Let's try adding 3 more items and see what we get. And as you can see here, we are going to get an exception. But let's do this. So I'm going to add a pineapple, a plum, and a peach. Okay? So fruits 2 is going to be pineapple. Fruits 3, so the 4th position, is going to be plum. And this is a little bit confusing, but again, this is how computers count. And then fruits 4 is going to be peach. Okay, so let's try to run this. We can either click start or we can press F5. And while this is loading and building, again, we have 5 items. So we are trying right here to add 5 items. So normally this won't work, and we are going to get an exception. And come on, Visual Studio, build. This is just a console application. It shouldn't last that long. Yeah. Well, until this is loading and so on, I can explain what the exception is about. So we are going to get the following exception. So index was outside of the bounds of the array. So the bounds of the array are 0 and 3 in our case. So from 0 to 3. And I don't know why this is still okay. Build succeeded, and this is going to run. So these are the boundaries of our array. And you can see that we have the console here, and it's very huge, and this is going to collapse. So we have the exception was outside the bounds of the array. Okay, so let's stop the execution, and I accidentally pressed on restart. Yes. Let's scroll down. So this happened because we tried to add way too many items, and it was caused by adding the peach. So the third line here. So essentially, we cannot change the size of the array, we cannot add too many items to it, and basically we cannot do just so many things. And this is where the generic list comes into play. And I'm going to cover it soon, so I'm going to create a separate video for list. But still, you should not disregard arrays. So there are many use cases for the arrays, and we don't just throw them in the trash because they cannot resize themselves. So maybe in some scenarios, this is the exact behavior that we want. Maybe that's the right thing to do in your scenario. Okay, so we can remove that line. So the peach line here, hit save, and then we can try to display the values. So here you can see that I have a for loop, and I have an I variable which goes from 0 until fruits.length. But notice here that we have less than. We don't have less or equal than, which means the I will go from 0 until 3, and when it gets 4, it exits the loop. But while it's less than 4, it's going to print the position of the item and then the value of the item. Okay, and this happens because 4 is not less than 4. 4 is equal to 4. Okay, so let's try to write the for loop. So for tab int I yes, and then I less than fruits dot length, and then enter. And the shortcut is CW and tab, and we are going to write the same format as you see on the left side. So I plus dot fruits from the index I. And then to be able to see the actual result in the console, we are going to say console.read key, and this will wait until we press any key. So let's try to run this time and see the result. So yes, indeed. As you can see here, I have apple, cherry, pineapple, and plum, all of these fruits, and the indexes. Okay, and we don't have 4 because 4 doesn't exist. It's the size of the array. We have 4 fruits in total. Let's try to stop the execution. So this is how you can add items to array. Next, I'm going to show you a faster, shorter way of doing declaration and initialization in one line. So initialization is this part over here, but that's going to be in a new video. If you like this video and if you find it helpful, please give a thumbs up. Also, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. When I do that, I will start posting Q&A videos on Fridays. So if you have questions, don't forget to comment them below, and maybe they will end up being in my videos. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.